Hello, I'm Lisa Bien. We are excited to be here today to kick off a new season of Bouncing Back. Speaking of new, sometimes doing anything new can create a fear of the unknown. Not knowing what to expect can make any one of us anxious. Each time we've met here, we've shared personal stories of redemption, and we've shown each other how to bounce back from sadness, self-doubt, and a vast multitude of life's obstacles. This time we're going to talk about being new to Temple or any other university as a freshman. For some, it can be a simple transition. For others, it can be a source of anxiety and discomfort. Today, we're going to discuss some of the fears that surround being a freshman and offer some solutions designed to help you bounce back as you start your college career. Let's get started. We're happy to have two Temple students with us to help you better understand the challenges of being a freshman and to share some coping mechanisms that can make it better experience. Joining us today is 18-year-old Jake Galli, an incoming freshman here at Temple University. His hometown is Phoenix, Pennsylvania, and he will be living here on campus coming into the fall semester. Like most freshmen, he has some worries. Will he fit in? How should he manage his time? How can he keep off the freshman 15? Welcome to Bouncing Back and to Temple, Jake. Also joining us is Ray Smeriglio. Ray is a senior marketing major in the Fox School of Business. He comes from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, where he graduated with a class of only 70 other students. During his time at Temple, Ray became actively involved in campus life. He became an OWL team leader and an active member of student government. Ray became student body president in 2014. Though he has accomplished much in his career at Temple, Ray is not afraid to admit that he gained the freshman 30 by eating buffalo chicken cheesesteaks. Thanks for joining us, Ray. Well, thank you both for joining us. I'm so excited to have you, especially, I remember meeting you about a year ago when you were just running for president, and I remember speaking to you prior to your Temple experience, and you only wanted to come here at Temple.
Absolutely.
So congratulations. I understand you only applied here, so tell me, now that you've gotten accepted here at Temple and you're a freshman, what have you set goals for yourself of how you're going to make it for 4 years?
Well, I think the first and most important goal that I've set is trying to keep on top of all my schoolwork. I know that for most of my high school career, I wasn't the most studious of students, but I think that's obviously very important. I'm paying now for, to go to class, and so I think that's a huge thing to keep on top of, and also organization, not only with the schoolwork and whatnot, but also in my bedroom and stuff like that. I mean, I'm rooming with one of my best friends, and we are both slobs. So
that might be a challenge.
Right. I mean, I've gone to the beach with them. We've shared rooms, and they've just ended up disgusting. So I think that's going to be a huge goal of mine, to try and keep my room clean for at least freshman year.
What is the one thing that maybe concerns you the most? I mean, you yourself are coming from a small school, correct? And now you're here at Temple, and the last number I was given was there's 5,000 new freshmen on campus. So probably the amount of freshmen on campus is just bigger than your high school.
Oh, way bigger.
So what's the fear that you have that you could share?
Well, I of course have all the typical fears, but
well, what are the typical fears? Because I don't know if everybody's willing to talk about that's why we do this show, because the whole goal of the show is to talk about what people are afraid to talk about. So maybe a typical fear for for you, maybe it's not for somebody else. So just give me one typical fear or two.
Well, I mean, I think that making friends can be hard. I come from, like you said, a high school of not many people, to a student body or a freshman class of 5,000. So I think that it's very hard to acclimate yourself with people who you never met before. So I think that's going to be a really big challenge. I'm not really the most outgoing person, I'll admit, but so far it's been pretty good. It's a very open door policy, at least on my floor. So I've gotten to know a few of my neighbors, and that has progressed pretty well.
Well, it seems like you're sitting next to Ray, who is very outgoing.
Yeah.
So maybe Ray can give us some pointers to not just to Jake, but to some other freshmen that are feeling like It's hard to make friends on a big campus.
Absolutely. Well, the biggest thing when you're on a college campus like this is to just really take hold of the resources that are available to you as students. The university actually had an old marketing campaign called Access to Action. Temple gives you the access, you take the action. And that's very true when it comes to making friends on campus. You've got your RA on your floor. That's really going to do those floor meetings and programs where you'll just be able to meet people in kind of weird ways that you never expected it. And then you have over 300 different clubs and organizations that you can join right off the bat to make friends, not only within your major then, but with clubs and organizations that more specific to what you're interested in. Like there's an underwater basket weaving club. I bet those kids in that club never would have thought that there would be a place for them.
Are you serious?
100%, 100%. That's actually the Dean of Students' favorite club to talk about when she's like out talking to people, because it's so niche and it's so honed in that, if I came to Temple and I was big into underwater basket weaving, not that I ever really knew it existed before this, that would be pretty awesome.
I'm hearing about it.
Yeah.
So put your hat on, Ray, when you were a freshman, and tell us, what was your fear, and then maybe how did you overcome some of your fears so that maybe Jake can learn from you?
Yeah, I came from high school, as we mentioned, I graduated with 70 students. And not only is it my high school, but you're with the same people all, since kindergarten practically. So I had the same friends for like 12, 13 some years. And then you come to Temple and like nobody in my high school really wanted to go to Temple. So nobody came here. So I knew no one coming here. So I was really nervous. I was like, wait a minute, I've never had to really make change. I've never really had to meet new people. And then you come here and you're just thrown into this, we say 5,000 incoming freshmen, but you also have another 3,000 transfer students a year. And then there's about 20,000 other students that have been here, sophomores, juniors, seniors. You got grad students. So it's very overwhelming at first.
Okay. So Jake, you have a girlfriend back home, right?
I do.
So what's the plan? She's in high school, you're in college. How do you foresee managing this relationship back home?
Well, obviously, it's a very delicate topic, but
Delicate for you, or
right.
for her?
Well,
She's hitting you hard with this one, my friend.
it's a very delicate topic to talk about. At least for me. I mean, I love her a lot, and my plan is to stay with her throughout college. And she's looking at a lot of colleges, and of course, I'm pulling for Temple. Her mom lives in the city, so she's pulling for Temple. So hopefully, the plan is for her to come to Temple, but I want her to do whatever she wants to do.
Right.
She's also looking at like James Madison, other colleges like that. But yeah, she visited she pretty much comes up, or I come down every weekend. I only live about 30 minutes away. So
Okay.
She comes up here, I go down there, whatever the deal is. We see each other about every weekend. We try and talk as much as possible. And so far, it's been great.
So here's the other magical question. Mom, dad, it's such a transition for a parent when their child goes to college. You want to communicate, but you don't want to over communicate. You don't want to under communicate. It's kind of like a little cha-cha dance. Have you and your parents sat down? Have you and your parents sat down and decided how you're going to communicate? Is it a Skype call on Sundays? Do you have a plan?
We don't, but we've just kind of been winging it so far, and it's worked pretty well. It's kind of hard for me to see, but when I leave and they're left alone with my crazy sister at home, I know that's tough for them. That's a joke, of course. But so far we've been in touch a lot. I think that I've been able to keep in touch with my dad a lot more. That's not I love my mom and we've been talking, but it's football season and
Right.
fantasy football.
It is definitely football
I need,
season.
he needs my advice, I need his. So of course, there's always going to be ways that I'm going to be keeping in touch with my family, and I don't think it's going to be a problem, to be honest.
That's awesome. Just don't forget about your mom.
I know.
It's coming from a mom. So both of you, you gained 30 pounds because you said you ate the buffalo cheesesteaks.
There it is.
I think I
Again.
gained a tremendous amount of weight when I was a freshman at college. And so, Ray, could you offer Jake a piece of advice for not gaining the freshman 15?
It's a great time in your life to really start habits that you'll bring for the rest of your life and carry on through your life. So, while you're in college, these 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, however long it takes you, you really want to make sure that you go to the gym, you utilize the free facilities that are here for you now. and they're salad bars and, something, I don't really frequent those salad bars that much, but there's a way to really start to tie in, your own health and making sure that you live, because it actually helps you with your stress level. If you're eating like crap every day and you're not going to the gym or whatever that looks like, then you're getting, you're more apt for stretch. You have less endorphins going around or whatever they say. So really make sure that you get those habits early, so that when you get to your junior or senior year and you're doing, bigger projects, you have an internship, you have work, all that kind of other stuff, you already have those habits in place.
We have to wrap it up, but real quick, because I know we have to wrap it up. I want you to offer 2 minutes, or not even in 2 minutes, we got to wrap it up, a sound bite of how do you balance partying and studying? Because, I'm a mom, I will tell you that academics comes first. I'm also a realist, so just if we could just close on how do you do it?
I mean, I'll say this, and I get this question a lot from a bunch of different people. You can go out, have your good time, make your friends, but it doesn't always have to be a house party or a fraternity party or out at the bars in the city. This city has tons of different things to offer for you. Go out, enjoy that part of it as well, because when you do something sober in the city, that means the next morning you're not waking up hungover or whatever that looks like.
That's you know what, Ray, that was a perfect way to end the show. Thank you so much. That's a great advice. Remember that, sober in the city. Is that a campaign?
It was
because if it's not, we
there
should
it
start it.
There
Sober
it
in the
is.
city. Thank you very much. Deidre Berry-Guy is an alumnus of Temple University from the class of '97. She also holds a Master's of Public Health degree from Drexel University. Deidre joined the Wellness Center in the summer of 2012 as the Healthy Lifestyles Program Coordinator. In this role, Deidre is responsible for assisting all first-year and transfer students in becoming acclimated to university life and assisting with transition issues. Deidre, along with fellow colleagues at the Wellness Resource Center, created the Temple Transition Plans. This is an activity that looks at 6 key areas of concern for many first-year students. Well, thank you for joining us today. First of all, you heard us talk with Jake and with Ray. So on an average, could you give us a percentage of how many freshmen enter and then how many freshmen actually make it from freshman year to senior year?
Okay, well, on average, we see about maybe 5,000 new students enrolling into Temple University each semester, fall and spring as well. That percentage looks really different when we look at how many of them actually transition to senior year. And some of the safeguards that we've put in place are supports to help students based on sound research and being intentional in the work that we do with first year students and helping them transition through their first year of college in hopes that they develop the mindset, get access to the resources, and do well that first year of college. Some of the research that shows us that those wraparound supports help and assist students in actually maintaining those 4 years and graduating. The goal of the Wellness Resource Center within the Division of Student Affairs is to engage, develop, and retain our students until graduation.
Well, you know what, that's great. I was unaware of all the programs that Temple actually does and exactly what you do. So give us, you talk about the 6 steps. What are the 6 steps that we can offer for all the freshmen listening and watching the show today?
Well, I think this was placed in the right department at Temple because we see students for a myriad of reasons. But our office also sees every freshman student that is enrolled in Temple University during freshman orientation. And that's the very important time where we see students for the first time. They're coming straight from high school. Many of them have already developed habits and behaviors that will come into their freshman year. So we're really intentional about educating students about the risks and dangers of underage drinking, the importance of staying healthy and fit and being active. And so when we were looking at those areas, we decided to come up with what we call the Temple Transition Plan, or 6 tips for a healthy, successful college career. So the first one is getting good sleep. We know that college students, it comes with a culture and atmosphere of partying and staying up late, whether that's just on the residence hall, on the floor playing games till 2 or 3 in the morning. We really stress the importance of getting a good night's sleep, whether that means making sure you have a good mattress to sleep on, making sure you and your roommate come up with a plan about what time the lights will go off at nighttime, and making sure you're balancing fun with your academics. So
I think that's a great idea,
the
making a plan with your freshmen, with your roommate.
With
I'm
your
sorry.
roommate.
Yep.
So if you were used to going to bed at 9 o'clock and you're with a roommate that's used to being up till 12 and 1, you got to come up with an agreement on when will the lights go out so that we can both get an adequate night's sleep. So getting sleep is one. Two is eating right. I know that you were talking with your freshman and senior about the freshman 15, and I think one of them actually said they gained 30 pounds in their first year. So we talk about getting fit, staying active. And going to the gym is not something that everyone can commit to. But if you want to participate in a sport or just get outside and get the fresh air, throw the frisbee with your friends, jump rope, find ways to stay active and have fun while you're doing it. Thirdly, manage your stress. We know that the first year of college can be very stressful for many students. You talked about the anxiety, there's homesickness, meeting new people, worrying about whether you're going to be popular or not popular, and having those friends and those connections are important to helping to manage stress as well. So whether that's exercising, meditating, doing yoga, exercising, bicycling, whatever you do to have fun and manage your stress. Know your limits. When I go to a party, if you choose to drink alcohol, know what you're doing. Make sure that you're buddying up, making sure that you're drinking not more than 1 drink per hour. Those are the types of tips that we go over with students during freshman orientation. We also talk about speaking up, talk about the roommate situation, whether it's a sexually involved relationship or a roommate situation, knowing what you're getting yourself into and not being a bystander when you see something bad happening. Speak up about it. Let your RA know, let an official know on campus that something has happened. Don't just stand by and be a victim.
Well, they're all great tips, really very, we could apply them for everyday living, especially the eating and healthy and getting a lot of sleep. What piece of advice could you offer freshmen that are just feeling completely overwhelmed, and no matter what they do, they're sleeping right, they're doing everything that we tell them to do, but it's just their anxiety is just so overwhelming, they just can't seem to adjust to college life?
Well, being as though that our office sees a myriad of students, many of those students live within our living learning community that we support, the Healthy Lifestyles LLC. And they often come in to visit us, whether they're feeling homesick or they may have already had a diagnosed anxiety or depression disorder. We make sure that they're known to Tubman Counseling Services very early on. And we encourage students, if you're feeling not like yourself, you're feeling down, and it's more than just the blues about a test, to actually go and see a professional and speak to them. And a lot of times the Wellness Resource Center is that one-stop shop where they come in just to get some advice, but we're also screening and assessing for risk. And if we identify that a student is really having a hard time, we make a referral to Tubman Counseling Services.
Well, great. Just real quick, because we have to wrap it up, do you need an appointment for the Wellness Resource Center? Do they go to the internet and make an appointment? How does it work?
Students basically can walk in. We have an open door policy. We have some very intelligent peer health educators that are also on standby to assist the student in crisis or just needing someone to talk to, feeling a little homesick, maybe a little blue. You can come in and talk with someone and we can direct you to the right resource.
Well, great. Thank you so much. And I hope that all the freshmen have a very successful experience here at Temple.
Great.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Today, we met with Temple students at the beginning and the ends of their college careers, and with one member of the staff who has returned to Temple after gaining valuable experiences in the world beyond campus borders. College is an important part of people's lives. It's not just where many of us get a great education. It's where we learn how to be adults. The level of accountability we are suddenly faced with and the lack of guidance from our parents, siblings, and hometown friends can be terrifying at first. But college represents our very first time in our lives that we are free to choose our own priorities, build our own communities, and create our own place in the world. Anxiety is the unwanted but ever-present companion of opportunity. While anxiety will never completely go away, never forget that opportunity is always standing there right beside it, giving you the chances and the choices and the experiences that will help you grow into the person you will become. The opportunities you take or don't take during your college years will have a lasting impact on the rest of your life. This time is so precious. It's up to you to make the most of it. Thanks for joining us here today. All of us here on the Bouncing Back team are here for you as you chart your course through your Temple career and your life in the big world outside.